Last week, Pakistan held Eid al-Adha festivities, marking the end of the annual Hajj pilgrimage. Also known as the Feast of Sacrifice, this time it involved the slaughter of about 6 million animals. Sacrifices typically involve cows, goats, sheep and camels. But with access to slaughterhouses poor, public streets in cities like Karachi turned substitutes. A warning, some viewers might find the images in the upcoming report unsettling.
This is how streets in Karachi look after Eid al-Adha. After the sacred ritual of sacrificing animals, the carcasses, blood, intestines and other animal waste are left on the roadside. The city does not have dedicated spaces such as slaughterhouses to sacrifice animals. The only option for most people is to slaughter the animals outside their homes. The local government does not have the capacity to clean after them.
It requires a great deal of consultative process where people can be convinced that the obligation as per Islam is to carry out the sacrifice, not where the sacrifice would take place. And I think it's very difficult for any administration. Karachi is a huge city with millions of people residing. It's not easy for any administration to make sure that the offals are collected from everywhere.
The litter means there is danger of these roads becoming a serious health hazard as they breed mosquitoes and diseases. Experts suggest there should be stricter measures against people who do not sacrifice the animals in a hygienic way.
They should tax those people, challan those people who put blood on the streets. The blood should not come on the roads. This should not be in the way they do their sacrifice. I think this is very obnoxious to the people, and the smell and it really is irritating.
Beyond the irritation, it's a problem that repeats each year that the city fails to solve.
And joining me for more is DW reporter Binish Javed. Binish, welcome. Why aren't these animals being slaughtered in a slaughterhouse?
Biresh, because there are very few designated spaces or slaughterhouses where people can go and slaughter their animals. So what most people end up doing is that they slaughter the animals outside their homes or on the roads, in the backyards. I mean, I grew up in Pakistan and this is what my family also used to do because there are no other options. So now some people do properly dispose of the animal waste, but in most cases, people just leave animal waste out on the roads expecting that the government vehicles would come or sanitary workers would come to collect it. In some cases they do, but in some cases the animal waste can stay on the roads for days.
But Binish, this is something that occurs every year. Surely there should have been a solution by now.
So in Pakistan, millions of animals are sacrificed each year. So local governments know that they have to carry this big cleanup operation, but it's often the issue of capacity. Local governments need to allocate a lot of resources on vehicles, on sanitary workers. But I also think that in many cases, cleanliness and hygiene is not the top priority. So in Pakistan, this is an election year. So I've spoken to some reporters in Karachi and they say that even though we saw in the report that animal waste is just lying on the roads, but they say as compared to previous years, the situation was better this year.
Oh, that's quite relative. But all this blood and offal that we just saw in the report there, on the public streets in a congested city can't at all be hygienic. I mean, have health warnings not been raised before? Has somebody not tried to explore the severity of the problem before?
So, Biresh, in Karachi, during Eid holidays, thousands of people fell sick and they had food poisoning and other diseases and other sickness. So doctors say that most of these patients had eaten contaminated meat. So the condition in which this slaughter is done is not hygienic. Often the butchers who come, they're using the same knives, same equipment to slaughter different animals. It's not sanitized. And in hot temperatures, if the meat is not properly stored or put in freezer or refrigerator, it can go bad within hours. So definitely there's this issue. But if you also have these animal waste on the roads, it can multiply the problem. And In some housing societies, they do issue warnings and instructions, but generally for the population, hardly ever any instructions or warnings are issued.
Is there a solution to all this?
So in some Muslim countries and in almost all Western countries where they have Muslim communities, people are not allowed to slaughter at their homes. They have to go to slaughterhouses. And if they don't follow the rules, they're often fined. But it's a difficult solution for a country like Pakistan, where millions of animals are sacrificed. But there can be a solution. For instance, now my family does this. There are NGOs in Pakistan where you can just order like an online qurbani or online sacrifice. The NGO does everything for you. If you want a portion of meat, it can be delivered to your home. If not, the entire portion can go to needy and poor. So government can cooperate with these NGOs and encourage people to do online qurbani. Now, some experts also suggest that if animal waste can be used in sustainable ways, such as for making fertilizers, for animal fodder, or for fish food. This can offer governments an incentive to quickly collect the animal waste because then it's also sustainable and also profitable. So some solutions can work,
Right.
but as of now, in countries like Pakistan, I don't see that happening.
We'll leave it there for the time being. Thanks so much for coming in, Bini Javed.